Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this channel for another day. In today's video, we are going to talk a little bit more about hacking Wi-Fi. So if you saw the previous video and you wanted to know a little bit more, this is your video. This video could be considered an extension of the previous video, which in case you have not seen it, I leave it up here for you to take a look. In today's video, we are going to explain several concepts so that you understand well how these attacks are made. In addition, these concepts will come in handy when following any tutorial or any online course that you find on the internet. The first and most basic concept is that of a communication packet or network packet. You are going to find it in many different places with different names, but it is the same thing. Let's say that network packets are each of the blocks in which the information is divided when it travels through a network. Every time you send a picture, a message, a file, or whatever, it is divided into many very small packets that are sent sequentially one after the other. It is not sent all at once in a single communication packet. Whether it is a message between two computers, or between a computer and a server, or between a computer and its router. The latter are the most interesting when we talk about Wi-Fi hacking. To make it very summarized and not to go into too much detail, I will tell you that each of these packets consists of three parts. The first part is the header. Each packet contains information to know how it has to be sent. It usually has information about the sender and the receiver of this message or this packet. The payload, which is the part of information that the packet has received. It would be a part of the message that we are sending. And finally, the queue. Each packet has information necessary to do an error check, to see if a packet has arrived correctly or not. When in Wi-Fi hacking they talk about intercepting packets, it is precisely these packets that they are talking about. Communication packets between the router and the computers that are connected to that network. But why is it necessary to intercept these packets? Because in the payload of these packets many times, depending on the type of encryption of the connection, there is the necessary information to get the password. As a bonus, intercepting these packets and viewing their contents is usually known as SNIFR packet sniffing, and there is quite powerful software for this. Now we know at least two things: that there are packets between your router and your computer, and also that in these packets travels information that may be of interest to us. So let's explain the next concept, which is something you're also going to hear a lot about in Wi-Fi hacking. It is the topic of putting a network card in promiscuous mode or monitor mode. The normal thing is that a network card, which if you don't know, by the way, the network card is the component of your computer, which allows your computer to connect to a network. It is where the routers of the router, or where the Wi-Fi antenna will be. Well, the normal thing is that it can only send and receive packets that either go out from your computer or that are destined to your computer. Why do you want your computer to receive all the information from the network? It is saturation, and by default, your network card does not support it. Unless your card can be put in monitor mode or promiscuous mode. The most common is that by default, the network card that comes with your computer does not support these modes. So you will have to search the internet for a card that supports this. But don't worry, because it is really easy. With a simple Google search for network card in promiscuous mode or network card that can be put in monitor mode, there are numerous affordable options available to us. The benefit of using monitor mode or promiscuous mode is that our network card will ensure a vast range of choices. To see all the packets circulating on the network, that is, the packets between two computers within the same network, or between the router and another computer. As we said before, there may be important information inside these packets. So if we can see these packets, we may be able to see these packets. We might be able to see the contents of these messages. These messages, or whatever they are being sent. As I said before, there are specialized programs for this. But I would say that the standard is Wireshark. Because of the years it has been around and its robustness and simplicity within Recave, I'd say it's pretty much a safe bet. Using Wireshark, it is very easy to know what communication is going on within your network. You can know from which IP traffic is being generated and see the content of the packets being sent and received. Keep in mind that many of these messages may be encrypted, so even if you capture the contents of the packets, you will not be able to see the packets. We will not be able to see it. The good thing about this type of software is that it allows you to save the packets you have captured on your computer. In case in the future you would know or could decrypt that information, you could do so. Now that I have shown you what packets are, packet sniffers, network cards, promiscuous mode, etc., it is time to talk about something else quite important. It's time to talk about something else quite important, which is man-in-the-middle attacks. You will see that as soon as you start to get interested in the world of ethical hacking, you are going to hear a lot about it. It is not very easy to do, but it is quite simple to understand. In fact, with the explanation I gave you a moment ago, I've more or less explained what it was. The man-in-the-middle attacks are based on the fact of putting us, let's understand, not us physically, our computer or our network card in this case, in the middle of the communication of two devices. But how is this done? Well, by capturing the packets, which I have already explained what it is, with your network card in monitor or promiscuous mode, which I have already explained what it is, and using software to scan these packets and see the content, which I have also explained what it is. In fact, do you remember when I told you that many of these packets within a network are encrypted and cannot be seen? Well, it was discovered that the WPA2 protocol had a security flaw with this. Keep in mind that this protocol is one of the most secure protocols today. Well, it turns out that there is a vulnerability that allows you, once captured packets within a network, to be able to see this information, messages, photos, logins, everything that is being accessed from that network. In order not to get too long and make this video too heavy, I will explain very quickly, very simply, what this vulnerability is based on. What happens is that when a device connects for the first time to a WPA2 network, it establishes a series of messages at the beginning of all communication with the router. These first messages specify what the decryption key for these packets will be, so that your computer can decrypt the packets, so that your computer can decrypt the information once it receives it. And up to this point, everything is quite well thought out, really. The problem is that WPA2 does not check if the decryption key has already been used or not. So the following happens. Let's imagine for a moment that our neighbor tries to connect to the internet from his router, which is the most normal thing to do. At that moment, his computer and his router will be able to talk to each other, to reach an agreement on what the decryption key of the messages is going to be. But let's suppose that for a moment we are listening to those packets, and we manage to capture this password to decrypt them. What is going to happen is that both you and your neighbor are going to use the same key to decrypt the messages, are going to use the same key to decrypt the packets, and WPA2 is not going to notice it. So through packet sniffing, if we manage to capture this decryption key, we will be able to see pretty much everything. Messages, photos, even the website you are accessing. As you can see, the world of computer security is very wide, and we could be here talking until tomorrow if we wanted to. That's why I give you the tips of the thread so that you can start to pull on the internet. Remember that this is not a tutorial channel by itself, it is a channel of divulgation. I give you the clues so that you know where you have to start pulling the knowledge. If you want more information, you can always search Google. You will find in forums, in computer security blogs, a lot more and much more specific information. And much more concrete. So today we are going to leave the video here. If you want to continue learning computer security, here's my channel. And if you want to continue watching another video of mine, here's another video of mine so you don't get bored and keep learning in this little world of computer security. See you in the next video. Ciao!